Straight ahead on CCX News, getting to know a Brooklyn Park City Council member. Dancing shoes are required for this week's Off the Clock. But first, the human side to Brooklyn Center Police.
I think we started a trend. I think we see now more and more cities doing this.
What Brooklyn Center Police are doing to build trust in the community. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Today we take a deeper look at what it means for police departments to build trust.
Every local police department conducts community outreach efforts to help build relationships with the public. In Brooklyn Park, community outreach has really amped up over the last 10 years. The city's police force developed unique programs like the annual Cops and Kids fishing tournament with local youth. But they reach out to adults too, as well as other local departments. Brooklyn Park, as well as other local departments, were recently highlighted on national news for handing out car repair vouchers instead of tickets to drivers who might be missing a taillight. Every local department also conducts large toy and coat drives around the holidays. The line of cars that meet up in Golden Valley preparing to drop off toys always stretches around the block. These efforts have taken on greater significance in the wake of recent officer-involved shootings, both locally and nationally. Those cases resulted in protests and accusations of police brutality. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Alex and Shannon, over the past several weeks, we've spent time with the Brooklyn Center Police Department to get an up-close look at what they do to gain the public's trust. It's the first of a special CCX News two-part series called Building Trust, Cops in the Community.
So this is our National Night Kickoff Party. It's something that we've done for several years.
Monday night at Centennial Park.
There's a lot of people there enjoying themselves, having fun, big event.
Brooklyn Center Police kicked off their National Night Out celebration a day early.
Just a good chance for our officers and city staff to interact with our residents in a positive manner. And as well as a way for our residents to interact with us.
The event helped Brooklyn Center Police showcase their human side.
So I've been with Brooklyn Center for 13 years. I've always noticed a positive connection between the police and the community. But again, it's something that we're always working on. We're never there, we're never where we want to be. These relationships are ongoing and need to be maintained, and that's something that we've worked on.
The relationships need to be maintained in part because of headline-making officer-involved shootings. In Minneapolis, a roadside memorial still exists for Jamar Clark, a black man who was shot to death in 2015 by Minneapolis police during a confrontation. The incident set off weeks of protests.
It's a tough job. They got to make split-second decisions.
Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman announced several months after the incident that his office wouldn't bring charges against the officers involved. He says he has seen that breakdown in trust between police and the community firsthand.
Minneapolis police need to learn to de-escalate situations instead of escalating them. They can shout and yell and use their guns, but we do a lot better if we say, hold on, calm down, let's talk about this.
Events like this Brooklyn Center kickoff party are designed to establish trust and maintain relationships. But their outreach efforts go well beyond National Night Out.
Gator, you're up.
Every Thursday during Minnesota's warmer months,
I'm going to ban you from three-pointers here pretty soon.
officers from Brooklyn Center's Street Crimes Unit gather in this gym near the high school to play sports with local youth.
I was like, okay, let's go. If the cops can play, let's go.
Anyone who shows up receives snacks, a bottle of Gatorade, and the chance to see how their athleticism stacks up against Brooklyn Center's finest.
We see the vast majority of these kids out on the street every day when we're out doing our regular patrol activities, so it's nice seeing them here in the gym and get to hang out with them. And then when we see them on the street, we already have that connection that we've built with them. If I miss this, you have to make it again to prove it.
Cody Turner is a 10-year veteran of the department.
No.
He says open gym goes a long way toward establishing relationships with neighborhood kids.
They get to hang out with us, play a little bit of basketball. They go home, they tell their friends about it, they tell their parents about it, and I think that it helps them understand that we're human just like everybody else is.
And it's not just youth that police want to reach out to.
How are we going to communicate better with the community from the police department's perspective?
Brooklyn Center holds neighborhood park meetings several times a year, where the public can interact with police and other city officials.
And it's much a smaller group, and a lot of times the questions that are asked are really relevant to that group in that part of the city. So it really spoke
focuses in on that one specific area. So it's been much more successful that way.
911. Successful because the city department heads are going out to where the people are, rather than having them come to City Hall. It's an interaction that dates back to 2008.
In 2008, it definitely was unique. I think we started a trend. I think we see now more and more cities doing this and actually bringing city employees to the citizens where they live is the best way to do it. So I think it's getting more and more, but I think we blazed that trail.
Well, this is an exciting opportunity for everybody.
Yet even though the department has a number of outreach programs in place, police admit they can't get complacent. The hope is that if a high-profile incident like the Jamar Clark shooting were to happen in Brooklyn Center, that they've established enough goodwill to maintain the public's trust.
Well, we certainly hope so. We have had some of those incidents in the past, and it didn't get the media attention that you've seen recently. And I'd say a lot of that's attributed to the partnerships and the trust and all the work we've done.
Well, another outreach effort the department wanted to highlight is the Multicultural Advisory Committee. In Brooklyn Center, 1 out of every 4 residents is foreign-born, and in many of those countries, the police aren't credible. The Multicultural Advisory Committee works to minimize those fears and educate people on police initiatives. Tomorrow, we'll have part 2 of our series on building trust. We tag along with Brooklyn Center Police as they patrol the streets to see how they go about interacting with the public. Shannon?
All right, thank you, Delane. Osseo police are not only trying to build trust, but they're trying to have a little fun while doing it. Osseo hosted its first citywide Night to Unite event. Chief Shane Mickelson and Officer Anthony Mortensen started planning for the event several months ago. The reasoning behind it was simple.
Your neighbors, sometimes you don't know the neighbor that lives 12 houses down from you. So by bringing them together, that's what's important, is talking to them.
It shows the community and everybody gathering together, having a good time, nice weather, good food, simple things in life.
30 volunteers like Caroline Reichert helped make the event happen, which included games for kids, balloon animals, and there was even a taser demonstration. Still ahead, the side of a Brooklyn Park City Council member we don't often get to see.
What Lisa Jacobson does to unwind when she's off the clock. Plus colorful new fields for the football and soccer teams at Armstrong and Cooper High Schools. That's later in sports.
But first, a very lake-worthy forecast. Thursday and Friday, expect sunshine and highs in the upper 80s.
She has spent her career working for nonprofits helping kids and young adults.
Reporter Sonia Goen shows us what Brooklyn Park Council member Lisa Jacobson does when she's off the clock.
I believe that for all of us that took this code of conduct in January.
When Lisa Jacobson is not representing her constituents in Brooklyn Park, she's busy hitting up Hope for Youth in Anoka.
We are meeting the needs of the currently unaccompanied homeless young people aged 23 and under.
The nonprofit has a drop-in center and housing program to help homeless children and young adults from the Northwest Metro.
This is our food and hygiene pantry, where our youth can access the supplies that they need.
Pain from her past drives her passion to help others.
My first marriage, I was beaten every single day. And I believe that part of that happened so that I could do the work I do today.
She says many of the young people at Hope for Youth have experienced domestic violence or witnessed abuse themselves.
I know what it feels like to hide from your abuser under the stairs until they pass out. I've been there. I've done that.
Jacobson was resilient, eventually leaving that situation and getting on with her life.
I had to rise up above that and you know, work hard. I've always had multiple jobs so that I could pay my own way in life.
10 years ago, she became a minister, starting a church group at Hope for Youth.
I also perform weddings, and sadly, I'm at an age where my friends' parents are dying, so I have done a couple of funerals as well.
There's also a fun side to Jacobson. She struts her stuff on 2 dance teams.
I'm part of a competitive ladies tap and jazz group out of Dancing on Broadway in Maple Grove.
You can see her perform during halftime shows at Timberwolves and Lynx games.
We're only out there for about 60 seconds or so. The crowd loves it.
The Brooklyn Park resident dances to her own beat, whether performing in front of a huge crowd or helping young people.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy, but it's been good. and you choose your attitude every day.
For Off the Clock, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Provide them with.
And in the interest of full disclosure, Lisa Jacobson, of course, is married to our own CCX sportscaster, John Jacobson. Good for you, Lisa.
Absolutely.
How about
I love
that?
the dance moves.
Yes. Still ahead, blues, brews, and barbecues.
But first, a look back at the memorable back-to-back championships for the Park Center softball program. Jay Wilcox is in next with sports.
With fall practices starting Monday, some of the teams at the two Robbinsdale District high schools will have new surfaces to run on. Soccer and football players and fans will see a brighter look at Cooper and Armstrong stadium fields this fall. New artificial turf has been laid at both schools. The old turf served its purpose well, but was at the end of its lifespan safety-wise.
Well, they do impact testing every year on those fields, and ours was, it was still meeting the test, but, by the minimum near the last year or so. So, you got to take care of people. It was time for it, but we got 12 years out of it.
Full-color end zones and midfield logos are immediately noticeable for the Falcons and Hawks.
When we first put the turf in, we were one of the few new school districts that put in turf, and at the time I think you're a little bit more worried about vandalism and obviously the cost involved to give you a little bit more color and included the logo. But now at this point we're one of the last ones that does not have color or logo, and so to keep up with the Joneses, we felt we needed to do that, and the pride that's instilled with it, with the kids just super excited to get on this field and show our school colors.
Well, we're coming off a really good year overall at Cooper last year, and I think that this is just another thing that you're trying to show them that, you want them to have some of the best things that possible out there, and the colors are Cooper, the logo's awesome, and I think it just instills another step of pride into our programs.
One seemingly small change will help. All needed lines are in place.
We used to have to paint the media lines, we used to have to paint the lacrosse lines, and we've added that in the stitching this year, so that takes away some of the weekly maintenance, if you will.
Best of all for the ADs, coaches, and players, both fields are fully ready for the start of practices Monday. Well, in the spring of 2011, the Park Center softball team won its second straight Class 2A state title. Jason Malillo looks back on that championship run.
Going into the 2011 season, Park Center was the defending state champion, and head coach Steve Erickson knew his girls would have a target on their back. But the Pirates were also well built to repeat.
Once you've been through this, the kids had a very different outlook because now they've started to mature. Now I got to play earlier. We played little ball and stuff. As they matured and stuff, we hit the ball better.
Park Center burned through the 2011 regular season with a 23-4 record. And then in the section tournament, the Pirates showed their moxie.
You got to remember, both 10 and 11, we got beat the first game of the winners bracket and had to come back and win 2 ball games in order to even get that opportunity to go to the state tournament.
At state, junior pitcher Nicola Tade dominated. She threw a no-hitter in the Pirates' quarterfinal game, and in the championship tossed a one-hit shutout. In the 3 tournament games, she struck out 32, had a .41 ERA, and allowed just 4 hits and 1 run. Tate's performance was the result of a tireless work ethic.
I think from like 8th grade to senior year, I took maybe 1 full week off of pitching at a time. I mean, obviously I had days off, but like I would bring my glove on vacation with us and stuff like that.
I don't know if I'm a good coach or not, but you know what? Nick sure made it look easy.
On offense, Katie Fern led the way for the Pirates. She batted .818 in the state tournament with 9 hits, 5 runs batted in, and 5 runs scored. But Fern's impact went beyond her stat line, just like it had all season.
You knew you were going to see a few pitches because she knew how to work a count, and then you could see how everybody else shifted in the infield because you knew she was going to get it in play. You could say, okay, the third baseman has this kind of arm, or the shortstop kind of stumbled when she did this, because Katie was able to show that to us.
The 2010 and 2011 softball seasons were something special for Park Center. And Tade says even now, more than 7 years later, people still remember it.
I was out to eat with my boyfriend. We were going to like the Saints game, and there was some Osseo parents around, and they're like, oh, Nicola Tade, yeah, I recognize that name. I'm glad other people were able to enjoy it too and kind of cheer us on and have some pride in Park Center.
Thanks, Jason. Some good memories from a couple of great teams there for the Pirates. And that's all for sports. Back to you, Shannon and Alex.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Up next, they picked a perfect weekend for it.
We will preview Blues, Brews, and Barbecues when we come back.
And finally, Blues, Brews, and Barbecues.
Neil Persley takes us to an event in Plymouth that is sizzling.
Blues, Brews, and Barbecues, hosted by Mount Olivet Lutheran Church in Plymouth, has an impact on the community that goes much deeper than the entertainment it provides on a Saturday in August.
Blues, Brews, and Barbecue got started in 2012, and part of the story and the emphasis was to benefit some nonprofit organizations that Mount Olivet had supported over the years. And so in 2012, they started Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, and ever since then, all the earnings from the event goes to Habitat for Humanity and Prism.
They're actually the only congregation who does a staff build day with us. So in addition to bringing volunteers out, they bring their staff out to build with us. And so now going into our 6th year as a partner in that event, it has raised more than $40,000 for Twin Cities Habitat.
It is important to Mount Olivet that the charities they help are serving people at a very local level.
Prism Food Shelf serves the local 5-city area: Golden Valley, Crystal, Robbinsdale, New Hope, and east of 494 in Plymouth. We see 600 to 700 families every single month coming through. They get about a week to a week and a half worth of groceries, so we're providing a real financial relief for many families.
So put a big star on your calendar for this Saturday, because
there's 2 stages. There's a tent stage and a main stage, and we feature local artists, local blues bands. We'll also have food. We'll have barbecue, barbecue chicken, a wide variety. We'll have vegetarian meals, as well as beer.
From Mount Olivet Lutheran Church in Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Blues, Brews, and Barbecues starts at 3:30 on Saturday. Tickets are $12 on the Mount Olivet website before the event, and they're $18 at the gate.